All right, guys, so we're going to start on our application using the module pattern, our Tracalorie app. And we're going to start off by just creating the markup. We're using Materialize CSS for our UI framework. We're going to get this out of the way, and then we'll move on to the JavaScript. Now, if you don't want to go through and follow along with creating the interface, you can just grab it from the resource files and then move on to the next lecture. All right, so I have an empty folder here called Tracalorie, and we're going to create a new file called index.html. In addition to that, we're going to create app.js. So the app.js is going to hold everything. It's going to have all of our modules, our controller modules, local storage stuff, everything. But we're not going to get to that just yet. We want to create the interface first. So let's go to the HTML. And let's use Emmet and just put some basic head body tags in. We'll change the title to Tracalorie. Actually, let's add to the title, say Tracalorie meal and calorie tracker. All right, and we're going to need a couple things to include here. One, of course, is Materialize CSS. So we'll go to materializecss.com, click Get Started, and we're just going to grab the CDN link right here and paste that in. All right, another thing we're going to need is Font Awesome. So I'm going to search for Font Awesome icons, or not icons, CDN, because we want to include that. So we'll get it from this bootstrapcdn.com/font awesome. We'll grab this right here and put that right in the head right here. All right, that'll allow us to use icons. Okay, now we're also going to need the Materialize JavaScript file, which if we go back to the Materialize site, this script right here, we're going to copy and put down here. And then that also needs jQuery. So we're going to search for jQuery CDN. And we're going to grab, let's see, we'll grab the minified version of version 3 and just copy that script. All right, and make sure the jQuery is before the Materialize. And that should be all the external scripts we need. So let's save this, and then I'm going to just open with Live Server. And let's hit F12. Okay, so there's no errors. That's good. That means that all of these CDNs we're using are actually being linked to. So now we can start on the interface. So at the top, we're going to have a nav bar. It's not going to really have any links. It's just going to have one clear button, and then it's going to have the branding. So right in under the body, let's create a nav. And inside the nav, let me just push this down a little bit and move this back. All right, so in the nav, we're going to have a div with the class of nav wrapper. We also want a class of blue because I want the background to be blue. We're going to have a class of container inside of the nav wrapper to kind of push everything to the middle. Then we're going to have an A tag with the class of brand-logo and also the class of center to keep it in the center. All right, we'll put a hash for the href, and then inside the text here, we'll say Tracalorie. All right, so if we save that, it should look like this. So we also want a clear button over here, so I'm going to go ahead and put this right under the A tag. We're going to put a UL with the class of right, and then we're going to have an LI. Inside there, we'll have an A tag, and this is going to have a class of clear-btn, a class of btn, and a class of blue. And then I want to lighten it a little bit, so it's going to have a class of lighten-3, like that. All right, and we'll just put a hash for the href for now. Okay, so let's save that, and whoops, we didn't put our text in. So let's just say clear all. And now we have our clear button. All right, so now we're going to move on to the form area. Okay, so where we can add our meal item and the calories and all that. So under the nav, I'm just going to throw in a line break, and then we're going to put a container, push everything to the middle. We're going to put the form inside of a card, which is basically, gives us kind of a border, some padding, gives you a little bit of box shadow. And inside the card, we have a class called card content for the main content. And then we're going to have a title, which is going to go in a span with the class of card title. We'll say add meal / food item. Okay, let me just make this bigger and I can actually close this up. Okay, now under the span is where the form's going to go. So the form, we're going to give a class of call. We don't need an action. Okay, inside the form, we're going to have a, let's see, we're going to have a class of row because we're using the grid system. And basically we want 2 6-column divs. So one side will have the meal item, one side will have the calorie count. So let's say we're going to do, actually, yeah, so we're going to have a class of input dash field and also a class of call and a class of S6. Okay, and then inside here we're going to have our input. It's going to have a type of text. Let's give it a placeholder of add item. And I'm also going to give it an ID of item dash name. All right, let's give it a label. Label for item dash name. And we'll just say meal for the label. So let's save that. There we go. So now on the other side, we want the calorie count. So what I'll do is copy the input field div, paste it in underneath, and this one is going to be item dash calories. So for the placeholder, we'll say add calories. And let's see, for the ID, we already did that. Label for item calories. And then for the label itself, we'll say calories. All right, let's save, and there we go. So now we have our 2 form fields. Now we're going to need a, let's see, we're going to have a couple buttons here. Now the JavaScript is going to control what shows when. For instance, we're going to have an add button, add meal. We're going to have an update, and we're going to have a delete. We're also going to have a back over here, a back button to clear the form. So we're going to have quite a few things here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them all here now, but I'm going to comment all of them except for the add button and the back button out for now, just so it doesn't, because it's going to look confusing with all those buttons, because they're not going to show at the same time, you know. So let's go under, let's see, under this input field right here, under this div, and let's put a button. This is going to have a class of add-btn, btn, blue, darken -3. Okay, so it's going to have all those classes, and then it's going to say add meal. Let's save that. Now I want to put an icon in here, so we're going to put an I tag with the class of FA and the class of FA-plus. Oops. Why is that not working? There we go. All right, so we have a little plus icon from Font Awesome. Save that. Good. So now what we'll do is copy that button, paste in 3 more. Okay, the second one, I'm going to change the color to orange. We're going to change the, whoops, that's the first one. Second one should be orange. We're going to change the class, this class to update button. Let's change, we can take the darken 3 out. We're going to change the icon to FA-pencil-square-O, like that. All right, and we're going to change this to update meal. Okay, the third one here, we're going to change this class to delete button. We're going to have the color be red. Take away the darken as well, so just red. And we're going to have this is going to be FA remove. We're going to change this to, let's see, delete meal. All right, and then this last one here is going to be class of back btn, and this is going to be gray. And then I'm also going to get rid of the darken class. I'm going to add a class of pull-right so that it floats it over to the side. All right, and then the icon will be, let's see, it's a long one. It's going to be fa-chevron, chevron-circle-left. Okay, and we'll change this to back. Okay, so there's all our buttons. Let's save that. And it's not the most responsive, well, of course, right now because they're all showing, but these will never all be showing at the same time, so don't worry about how it looks right now. What I'm going to do actually is comment out the update and delete for now. All right, so let's see down here. We're going to comment that stuff out, so we just have add meal and back. All right, we're actually going to have a few things commented out because they're going to be generated by the JavaScript. All right, so that's it for the form. Now, underneath that, we want our total calorie count. So let's go, we want to be within the container, okay, within this container, but outside of the card. So right here. I guess we can put a comment here too. We'll say calorie count. And up here, let's say form card. I guess we can put navbar up here as well. Okay. So for the calorie count, this is going to be just an H3. I'm going to give it a class of center-align. Inside here, we're going to say total calories, and then we're going to have a span with the class of total dash calories like that, and we're going to put a 0 in here to start with. Okay, so let's save. There we go. And then finally we're going to have the item list. Okay, so let's go under, still within the container, but under the calorie count. We'll say item list. So this is going to be a UL. We're going to give it an ID of item dash list. Actually, I also want to give it a class of collection. Oops. So class of collection. Oh, can't spell. T-I-O-N. Okay, so class of collection. And then inside here, all of the list items here are going to be generated through JavaScript, but I want to hard code them and then comment them out. Okay, because I want to at least get the markup down so we know what we're doing. Okay, what we have to insert. So let's put in an li with the class of collection item. All right, and by the way, collection and collection item, that's just part of Materialize, part of the list, or collection as they call it. We're also going to give this an ID of item-0, okay? Because each list item is actually going to have an ID of item dash and then whatever its actual ID is in the data structure, okay? So it's going to start at 0 and go up. So within here, let's say steak. Actually, we'll put this in strong tags. Why? Sometimes I don't understand why Emmet is not working at times. So strong, and we'll say steak dinner. Yeah, steak dinner. We'll put a colon, and then after that, let's put in some M tags, and we'll say I don't know. My calorie counts are probably way off. I'm just kind of guessing. So we'll say 1,200 calories. All right, so let's save that. So that's what it's going to look like. Now we're also going to want an icon over here to edit this. So the icon is going to go under the M tag right there that we just put in. And we're going to have a link around it. So let's say It's going to have a class of secondary dash content, which is a Materialize class to add something to a collection over here, like an icon or a text or whatever it may be. Okay, so inside the A tag, we're going to put an I tag with the class of FA-pencil, which is a font awesome icon. So we'll save, and now we have the little pencil icon. So what I'll do now is copy the LI. Let's paste 2 more in. So let's see, let me push these back. So we'll say steak dinner, what else? I don't know, cookie, we'll say 400 calories. And let's say eggs, 300 calories. All right, so we'll save that, and there we go. So that's pretty much our UI. All right, the rest of the stuff we're going to do is all dynamic. It's all JavaScript. The styling is all set. Everything is good as far as the user interface. All right, so in the next video, we're going to start on the JavaScript. One thing I want to do real quick is just comment out the actual LIs, because we're not hard coding these in, but I do want them there. So we'll save. Good. All right, so that's it. In the next video, we'll start on the JavaScript. We'll start to create our modules, or our controller modules, and we'll go from there.